All right, we are back for part 4 of episode 1 of Life is Strange Double Exposure, resuming right now.
Safi weighs heavily on us today. In fact, my best-selling novel speaks to this precise moment. Safi disliked my book, ironically, but sales don't lie. And being remembered for one's words is a kind of immortality. Grief is fleeting, but words are deathless. They endure. I want to honor Safi Llewellyn and pay tribute to her unique voice. Hence why we're holding class on the quad today.
Is that Lucas?
Caminero, head of the lit department. God, what a pretentious creep. Safi hated his guts.
I don't give a shit what Lucas does. You shouldn't either.
It just bugs me seeing him up there, basking in everybody's sadness.
Safi never found the audience that so few of us enjoy. It's up to us to keep her fire burning.
Tell me that shutting him up won't make me feel better.
It won't. But I wouldn't blame you for trying it anyway. I'll find you later. I can't watch this.
Ugh, Lucas gets under my skin. I could try to shut him up, or I could just stay out of it and go keep Moses company.
It's probably a better idea to just walk away. I don't know who's like a full-time professor or not, but Max is relatively new here. I don't know where she measures up in stature. Generating some sort of faculty disagreement that then the president, Yasmin, might have to lean in on. It's just a bad idea. You just walk away. However, yeah, listen to this quote from my best-selling book. Safi never had a chance to find the audience that so few of us get to enjoy. Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot about Lucas right there. Loretta says, don't think I'll forget you trying to embarrass me. Oh, really? Max tried to embarrass Loretta. Is that the narrative that we're going with now? Ms. Caulfield. Okay, whatever. Appreciate you taking care of my package. Should we message Loretta? Come out and say it? Yeah, sure. I feel like it's not worthy of a response, but again, it's a game, not real life. Name the place. I've got nothing.
Kid, I swear to God.
Calm down, Woodward and Bernstein. I've gone with like anybody else. Like any single any single reporter would have made more sense. Vin, appreciate you taking care of my package. It can be temperamental in the wrong hands. Sir, what were you expecting? Hold on. Now I suddenly feel very concerned. You do the same for me? I'm not sure that he would. Yeah, he seems very transactional.
Double entendres can't be his whole personality, right?
Nothing's free, isn't that what he said? You would, and then you'd expect some kind of payment to be named later. Vin says, imagine doing something for somebody and not expecting anything. Couldn't be me. All right, Amanda was gonna come over. We've got that. Moses, there's such a... Let me just like skim this really quick. We're not gonna read the whole thing. Sorry for this sort of short notice. I'm on the fence about the Halloween party at Vin's. Is everything okay? Safi and I went last year. It was a good time, only went a little bit overboard with the festivities. Let's just say I was Tetsuo in Vin's apartment with Neo Tokyo. Right. He's the big, like, anime guy. It's an anime reference. I'm joking. I've seen Akira. Said you were both still hungover from Halloween. Okay, so Max went with Safi. Ceiling stopped spinning about an hour ago. Ride to the Snapping Turtle. All Saints Week then. Mana Massive again. That's today. It is every week. If you don't want to play, it's fine. Wait, is Mana Massive a game that they play again? That they play with each other? Jeez, hold on. This got really tense. Hold on a second. It's the second Friday of the month. Oh, here it is. So this is where it started. Max wrote, it sure is. Then he said, ... Wait, Moses, did I forget? Mana Massive again. That's today. And then Max wrote, it is every month. If you don't want to play, it's fine. I'll understand. But I want you to tell me in person to my face that you don't want to play. Max says, you know, I don't have that kind of willpower. I barely have enough to make coffee most mornings. What is Mana Massive? Moses says it'll just be me and Diamond again. Diamond likes to play because it's fun. Just don't act surprised when I bring this up again next month, all right? Max says you will not... Oh, it's a collectible card game. You will not guilt me into playing it. Moses says you say that now, but I can already sense the equivocation in your texts. I told you my willpower is not what it used to be. Are you still coming to movie night? No, I'm falling behind in grading. What's that supposed to mean? So yeah, Max is not always there when people... are inviting her to things. Like, she'll accept and then not necessarily be there. Moses didn't like Brain Bucket 2. Let's just skim through. Wait, what's on back order? Oh, the new telescope. So that was a new telescope that he had. And then we had the decoder ring, and that sort of brings us up to date. So yeah, without reading every single thing. And that's it. We're now all caught up to date on phone. The main feed had... Kyle wants to know if there's any cryptid sightings. Oops. Martin is writing something from a personal space, but it also terrifies me. Is it even worth finishing? Why not? You can always delete it, erase it, or shred it later. Yeah, Miguel says, go ahead. Anything about me should be published. Oh, is Miguel and Martin are together, maybe? Or maybe they're just good friends. Take a chance. Professor... Hold on, this is, Logan, or whoever his name is, Lucas. Professor Colmenero is always saying you're going the right direction if it takes you to unexpected places, and Reggie says, fuck that guy. I've never felt tighter with Reggie. Amanda Comedy. Nothing else in here. Loretta sucks. Although Loretta did break the story about the shots fired. Okay. Yeah, suddenly I'm way more about, like, Izzy. You're hamming this up. And then we've got that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Okay, so now we are up to date on phone. We've done it all. Let me just check journal in case we've got anything new. No.
I pause to catch my breath. A receding shadow lurks in the periphery.
Jeez, Lucas. Your class must be freezing.
They don't look like they were dressed for this. Can I look? I don't feel like I'm going to get involved in this.
Jeez. What a dick.
There is absolutely something to be said when somebody is behaving inappropriately and trying to make an event about themselves when it's sort of like a community effect that hurt and affected a lot of people. Do we know where Moses is? But that dude's in the middle of a class. I don't know him. I don't know exactly what Max's relationship with him is. Hold on. Comfort Moses.
Where did Moses head to?
That's a very good question. Are there places that Moses likes to hang out? Are you serious? I mean, it's not like a Greek sculpture, but it's sure as shit better than I can do.
How do I get what you two have?
Oh, here's Moses.
Poor Moses. He really hasn't been the same since that night.
It's weird. Nobody here saw her. Just you and me. I feel so disconnected from all of them.
It's different, doesn't it? Hey, I have a question about Sophie.
Okay.
How did you guys meet anyway? I never asked.
It's not much of a story. I came to Caledon late, mid-year. Safi was assigned to give me the big, shiny grad student tour. I think she saw it as a chore.
Doesn't Yasmin have a VIN for that?
Exactly. But then she saw this bracelet I got in Kyoto. A little cherry blossom.
I've always liked that bracelet.
She just finished a poem called Hanami. It means watching blossoms in Japanese. I haven't thought about that in a while.
What's the deal with this bench? We used to sit here all the time.
Oh, yeah. Guess we did, huh? This was our lunch bench when we were both teaching summer school. For someone so chatty, she really got the appeal of comfortable silence, you know? Hey, Max.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use present tense. For just a little longer. I'm not ready for Safi to be a was yet.
Oh boy. We'll talk about this later.
I don't think I can pretend she's still here. That what happened didn't happen.
Neither option seems tenable, does it?
Okay. I think I might need a little alone time.
Probably just as well. I gotta get over to the observatory anyway.
You'll text if you need anything?
Yeah. Promise. You too. Yeah?
No. You want to go in aggressive with the red deck. Hit hard and don't let up. Blue's more tactical.
Moses?
It's not rock, paper, scissors. Any color jack can beat any other with the right cards. Yeah. Anytime. Later.
What the hell was that? Where's that other Moses? How do I bring him back?
I come in peace.
Declare your allegiance!
Come on, Diamond. Seriously? Conscientious objector.
That's what they all say.
I'm unarmed, okay? Just want to get out of Coco. That's it.
Snowballs down. Let the observer pass.
What is going on? What am I seeing? Better keep following Moses until I figure it out.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't try to ping again during
Where
that
is that other Moses going?
scene. If we have a second, in an earlier part I talked about what I felt like was the overall message of the original Life is Strange, that it was about Max's need to accept what had happened, and therefore when the option came up about like, what do you... Is it time
Gotta keep following that other Moses. I need to figure out what's going on.
When Moses was like, I don't think that I'm ready for her to be gone, I felt like the only answer that the right answer for Max was, I have to accept it. Not that I'm ready to, not that I should, not that I feel good about it, but I have to, because she's learned that lesson.
Where is that other Moses going?
I hope I'm doing this correctly. It feels like it's follow man.
What are you doing out here? Your final's in 5 minutes.
I'm not the one taking it. It's time for our Coco.
Safi?
You're hopeless. These poor kids pay tuition.
Hey, I have a 5-star rating on Teacher Rate.
I can't believe Max would stand me up. You were supposed to have lunch at the Turtle.
This is happening. This is real.
Probably afraid you'll charge the whole thing to her card.
Oh my god, dude. Go. It's too cold for this.
That really was Safi. I think I have to get to her.
Find a way to talk to her. By phone? I don't know.
In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to tell Moses that you don't watch his Blu-rays. Bye.
If she could just hear me like I can hear her. Safi! I'm right here! Right in front of you!
Fuck it. I got pizza rolls in my office.
Open the door. What if we one was enough now? We should have stayed blind.
Jeez. There you are. Thought I was gonna freeze to death.
But someone was listening when I called for help. I called.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was something more. I was waiting. Max, do you have anything that you might want to say to Safi? Something that might feel a little pressing? So let's take a look at this, and then we'll talk through what all happened. And this will be something that we do at the end of each major episode, each chapter. And by the way, the episodes will be recorded about a week apart. It's Narrative Sunday. This is how we this is at least my preferred way to do the narrative games. So it gives each episode a little bit of time to breathe, but I suspect that they will be up for you watching in the future in a fairly rapid fire, so you can watch them whenever you like. But for me, it'll be about a full week. Safi, what happened to Chloe? The people of Arcadia Bay have slowly moved on, but that's proven difficult for you. The interesting thing there is the split, that it is, after all of these years, so close to 50-50. If you told me 70-30 in favor of Chloe living, I would not have been surprised. It feels like a lot of people had difficulty making that particular choice, and were like, just let the world burn. Bay or Bay was the way that it went, with a lot of people going with the BAE version of Bay. For me, it was one of the hardest decisions that I made in gaming. It was a really, really tough one, which was actually edged out by a decision made in a game called Life is Strange. I believe it was episode 3 or 4, where you had, by the way, major spoilers here for the original game, but when I had to make the decision on whether or not to help alternate universe bound to a wheelchair Chloe end her own life, that was, if that's not the hardest button that I've ever pressed in a game, I'd really have to think about it. I mean, that one absolutely hit like a truck. And then the ending, but that's that. And I talked to a little bit ago about how I feel like if somebody were to tell me that the original Life is Strange, first had one ending, that it's this narrative choice-driven game with all of these binary choices. Do you help Kate, or do you take the photograph of David being rude to Kate? Are you able to save Kate or not? Do you, like, all of those, like, A or B choices? And then at the end, Max realizes that all of those choices are kind of illusory and there's only one outcome, which is Chloe dies. I would believe you. It just felt to me like in Life is Strange, it was so clearly communicated that this was all wrong, that Chloe was past her expiration date and there was no way to save her and to keep the fabric of reality intact. That's why I went with that decision. So there we go. We've talked about it. It was a lot. Let's go forward. Amanda. Ask Amanda out as friends or out as a date. It seems so obvious that Max was into her. And there's that line about like, well, I'm not sure if I want to flirt back. But there was just so much chemistry. I mean, Max really seemed to have like star eyes for Amanda. It absolutely felt like the right thing to do. The blowout there, the heavy weighting towards date thing, felt right. Amanda is excited to pursue a romantic relationship with you. So let's talk about when Amanda stopped by and was like, oh yeah, you're friends. And Max was like, wait, friends? And Amanda was like, yeah, it seems like you've got a lot going on now. One of the options there, the option at that moment was, wait, I can make it work. Similar to the thing with Chloe in the first game, now Max is the one who is grieving somebody very close to her. In Max's case, it was a friend, but to say to Amanda, oh, no, yeah, no, I'm sad about Safi, but that doesn't mean that you and I can't hook up. That would feel really weird. It's not in my head that Max doesn't want to pursue something with Amanda, but if Max isn't even returning calls from Safi's mom, surely she's not in the mindset to start start a new romantic relationship with Amanda, who she doesn't seem to know very much at all. It's a very much fledgling thing. It felt absolutely the right thing to do. Say friends now, and maybe we can revisit that later. For now, thank you very much for being here to support. I thought that was great. Loretta. Finished Loretta's interview or call her bluff? Absolutely called her bluff. I was not going to answer any questions for her. Not with her recording, not with her demeanor, not with her probing, invasive, tainted questions. And I just got we talked about this a moment ago. I just got a bad vibe off of her immediately. The whole will you do a blurb for my podcast? I to say it straight. What I was concerned about is that, again, Max sort of went incommunicado for what feels like multiple days, wasn't texting back to her friends, to Safi's mom. And I'm like, I don't know the nature of this podcast. I don't know Loretta. I don't know what Max might say or how it might be taken out of context. And it just felt like absolutely the wrong thing to do, to offer any comment on any topic. Hey Max, what do you think about the bands that are going to play at the Turtle? And then Max gives this response, and then Yasmin hears it. I thought that would have felt bad. The fact that she turned out to be like this muckraking yellow journalist was like, oh, okay, it was definitely the right call to not get involved with that. Loretta feels vindictive that you called her bluff. Yeah, that sucks. I hope that she feels some sort of other way later on that doesn't involve Max, because go somewhere else. We're not getting involved with that. Okay, abandoned spaces. Max liked empty spaces for the potential, 83%. It seemed like the presumed uselessness, I think, is also kind of artistically intriguing in its own way, that this is a space that was important. It was put together for this use, with the envision of like, these people are going to come, and now it's not that thing anymore, and it's sort of hollowed out. I think that that's a really interesting arc for like as an artist as well. But I like the potential because it just made Max feel more optimistic. And after everything that she went through, I like the idea of Max Caulfield being a little bit more bright about the future, that there's something good ahead, or that it can be ahead. So I like that spaces for the potential. Bowling Alley plushie. Stole a bowling alley plushie. Stole is doing a lot of work there. From who? We didn't leave it for the mice to pull apart for like bedding for their nest. We took it. It was garbage. If you're walking down the street and somebody has thrown out like, dude, I don't know, a small blackboard or something. It's just a blackboard. It's sitting right there. You can put some chalk on it and like a dry erase board, like whatever. And it's just like waiting for the garbage dump to pick it up. Garbage truck. You're not stealing it. You're just taking it. It doesn't go to the dump. What were they going to do? They were going to knock down that whole building before it fell in on itself. Stole. Chloe relationship. Max and Chloe were just friends. I talked about this a little bit ago. It was... So there's a couple aspects to it, and I talked about one before that I picked up pretty early that so there was a very complicated series of feelings between Max and Chloe. They had been very best friends. Max left. They had lost touch, and I didn't know what the nature of that, but they had sort of like been apart for a while. I hadn't yet played, of course, when you're playing the first game, before the Stormont was established, that Chloe reached out to Max over and over and over again and didn't get anything back. So Chloe wound up feeling very abandoned. I didn't have that context at the time. I just knew that, like, they've been apart. Now they've sort of reconnected. And by the way, Chloe was very, very close to Rachel Amber, who is currently missing. And as the story progresses, you eventually do determine that Rachel Amber was murdered. Both before and after that revelation, Max getting involved in a romantic relationship with Chloe, so hot off the heels of whatever it was that Chloe had going on with Amber. Oops, no, go back. I'm not ready for that yet. That just felt very wrong. And similar to saying to Amanda, friends now and maybe more in the future, it just, that's why I went that way. The other aspect to it is, and you're just going to have to take my word on this, I'm a straight male. And as a straight male playing this game, I don't want to just have that assumption that anytime two women are hanging out together, that it's about to get romantic at any point. I think that men can be friends with one another. Women can be friends with one another. Men and women can be friends with one another, and you can just have a wide swath of different friends. So as I was playing it, for all of the above reasons, and then just the fact that, like, they can just be friends. And even if they're like splashing around in the pool and having fun, they're right at that bridge from when they were kids and playing pirates, and now they are progressing very rapidly towards full adults here in their final year of high school. I guess Chloe is a year past having been in high school. Like she's out of it now. She's not graduated, but she dropped out is the point. There's still that last gasp of just being playful in a pool, and that's all I saw there. So yeah, that's why they were just friends. And when I finished the game and saw that it was just incredibly widespread, by 68%, it turns out that they were high school sweethearts, that I absolutely get where people are going with there. It was, for me, it was just like, what does it say about Chloe that she's actively worried about her friend/girlfriend that is missing, and that then she gets involved in another relationship while the search is ongoing? That's it. Pickup line. Yeah, Sophie's, oh, really? Look at this. The other two pickup lines would not have succeeded. It was the best by a mile. As soon as I heard As soon as I heard Safi's, I was like, there we go. That's the pickup line. Okay. Art pranks. Max didn't flip any paintings in the Snapping Turtle. I missed the opportunity to do so. I did. That wasn't a choice. That was me not realizing that a choice was presented. And I love it when a game does this. I need to pay closer attention, apparently. So 51% flipped all the paintings, and then 23% flipped some of the paintings. I have to say, even if I had known it was a choice, I'm not sure I would have flipped the paintings. It's not my place. If someone's going around flipping the paintings, how do you know? How do you know that they're upside down? I certainly think they were. Remember the one that was all words? That certainly looked upside down. But what if it's not? What if I'm the vandal by going around and changing it? Mug of choice. Max chose the actually vodka mug. So the nerdy and dirty mug, I just didn't like very much. And the toilet mug, I don't know. I guess it's just not part of my life fantasy to drink out of a toilet. So even a pretend one. So yeah, actually vodka. I'm surprised that nerdy and dirty walked away with it. Half of all people took that one. Rooftop moment of reflection. 72% Max reflected on the observatory rooftop. I'm not... Oh, by looking through the telescope? Was that it? Okay. Yeah, I was... As you guys have seen in watching episode 1 here, I want to explore the world. I said at the very beginning, I will underscore here, I like hearing what the character has to say, and... here's just an example from the first Life is Strange. When you're walking around and examining the bulletin board around Blackwell, Max has a couple different thoughts that she'll share about the swim team, the Otters. And I just sort of got a sense for who she was, about how she viewed school activities, how she got on and viewed other kids. And it's all these subtle little things that will sort of start to build your understanding of who this person is. I'm arriving in this game with a pretty clear idea of who I remember Max as being, and I get to now experience the world through an older and more self-confident Max, that she still is so reminiscent of the one that I remember, but also is now a source of support and inspiration and comfort for the people that are her students. I just think that that's really cool. And part of that is in examining the world and hearing her thoughts about them. So that's how I found the rooftop moment of reflection. It took me a second to remember which one that was. And then the bottle cap game. Max won the bottle cap game. And then apparently 40%, nearly 40%, did not win the bottle cap game. I wonder what they did. I remember that they showed the candy. I remember they showed the snowball. And then I'd swear there was a third thing that they showed, but I don't remember what it was. And then 18% were Max won, but let Safi keep her secret. So here's the thing. I made her tell because I felt like that was very much Max's relationship with Safi, that they were a little playful, not really like rivals, not competitors, but just I don't know, gave each other a little bit of grief here and there, but in a very loving way. They were very good friends. So yeah, that's why I Max won fair and square. She got to hear the secret and knows full well that Safi would come back at her, or at least one would think. And now we're going to find out. Photo wall. Max left her photo wall as it was. Damn it. Oh, I absolutely would have added the Arcadia Bay. That one I regret. It just didn't occur to me. Also, wait, there's more to it, because the photos were the last thing that I found, if you remember. And then What's-Her-Face showed up. So yeah, it absolutely didn't occur to me. I had forgotten to pick up the photos, and then I went upstairs. If I had found the photos before Max got changed, when I went upstairs and looked around, I would have seen that you could have put the photos up, and I would have done it. Because they're all the places that were important to Max, and in my head, it would have been... It's enough years later that I feel like Max is ready to be reminded. It's a very painful thing, but it's okay to have that out now. Coffee shop monument, a moment of reflection. I did not reflect at the coffee shop. I did not know that was a thing. I'm disappointed. I like the moment of reflections. Moses' hot chocolate. Wait a second. Oh, that's very frustrating. I walked up to the barista and she just observed like, oh, coffee is for waking up or whatever. And then that was it. I would have brought him his hot chocolate. I would have paid, well, wait, which of us makes more money? I don't know. But the point is, I would have at least gotten the hot chocolate. And then Safi's cause of death. Max told Yasmin there's no way Sophie took her own life. So I don't want to belabor this because maybe we will learn more about it. As far as I know right now, Max left the observatory. She's walking up the snowy path. She sees the owl. She takes the picture. Let's call it a time flash for lack of a better phrase. Then as she's walking up, she takes another photo, and I think it happens again. Or maybe that was the moon. Whatever it was. Okay, whatever it was, whatever the like sequence was. Then there's like this blur, this like Technicolor blur, and she hears the sound of a gunshot, and at the time I was just thinking like, oh, this is just Max hallucinating. Like, there's clearly something going on. We know Max has a history of unusual powers and abilities. It's just that. And then she came up, and Sophie was dead. And by the way, Safi, we had just seen her walking over there. So it was very surprising to find her dead based on like it. She just looked very pale. It looked to me like she'd been dead a minute. So that felt a little bit notable. But then when Yasmin was like, the police haven't ruled out suicide. Okay, video game, I need more information about that. And I'm experiencing all of this for the first time. It beggars belief that other people reached that line and didn't have the same reaction. What are you talking about? Names. Safi have a gun in her hand. Was there a pistol nearby? Did she have gunpowder residue on her hand or on her gloves? Because if the answer to those things are, as it appears to me now, no, how could it have been suicide? It's such a weird thing. I'm trying to think of like, if Max had come up and Safi's wrists had been cut, and maybe there was a bloody cutting instrument nearby with no other fingerprints on it, maybe then, maybe it was suicide. I don't think it was. I still would have said no, but at least that would have made a little bit of sense. Let's find out if there's a greater clarity on this coming up. Otherwise, that's just... It was so surreal to have Yasmin be like, the police think it might have been suicide or they haven't ruled it out. We'll move on, but that was extremely weird. And yeah, the 90% split there is no surprise based on what we've got so far. If there was a gun nearby to Safi when Max found her, I just didn't see it. And with the 90% up there, I have to assume that if it was there, other people didn't see it. Maybe it was just very unobservant. Choosing Safi memorial photo. I am not surprised that the one that I chose, passionate photo of Safi, was the winner. I'm surprised it was so close. The pensive photo of her like reading, that one just felt like it was a candid photo of her doing anything. Like she could have been writing, she could have been like eating ramen, like it could have been anything, and she just wasn't paying attention. It reminded me of the sad Keanu picture that was circulating a few years ago where, oh man, Keanu Reeves sure is depressed. And then people asked him about it. It's like, no, I was having lunch. I was just thinking about something. I wasn't sad or upset about anything. So it was super weird. And then the playful photo, I'm in my head at the memorial for Safi, and they have that easel with the big picture up of it. And I'm just trying to think of like, what would I feel comfortable telling Yasmin, her mother, what would be the best picture? And that passionate one, as we're now learning, it was the one with the microphone. That really seemed like the best one of the three. So I'm actually surprised it wasn't a little bit more of a blowout. Speak at Safi's memorial. Did not engage. Yeah, with Lucas. And again, I talked about that at the time. Again, a really even split. wait, didn't engage with the memorial. So that means that there's 11% of people that stepped up to Lucas, but then didn't actually say something at the memorial. I didn't engage with it very much by choice. You know, we talked earlier about things that I didn't realize were a choice, and I talked about that there. I feel like at the very best, Maxine is going to get up there, make a scene, embarrass Lucas, and walk away with a nemesis. And it just didn't seem worthwhile if Yasmin, president, oh, darn it, I don't remember their last name. If the president of the college wants to step up and tell Lucas to cut it the fuck out, which is certainly what I would want to do, that's her authority. It's not Max's, and it didn't feel right to make a big scene to cause ugliness that would then get back to the president. It just, no, let's not do that. And then the Abraxas puzzle box, 91% of people solved the first layer. 1% didn't solve it. And then 8% didn't find the puzzle box, which is itself really interesting. Yeah, I guess like almost everybody that picked it up solved it. I wonder, like, what's up with the 1% that were just like, nah, and they just closed it. I didn't come here for the puzzles. I'm just going to close it. And with that, we're going to. It's B for main menu. Let's trust that it's B for main menu, and then. Next week, we're going to come back and we are going to do episode 2 of Life is Strange Double Exposure. This game gets off to a very good start. On our way out, I just wanted to say one other thing about... Oh, no. Hold on. We're going to have to dial down the music because otherwise I'm going to be arguing with this. Let's go over to audio and we'll just take that down to like... Yeah, that's going to be quiet enough. We'll just apply that. So... The only other things that I wanted to say here is it's really interesting. It feels like a real attention to detail that when something bad happens, Maxine withdraws. And what she does is become very non-communicative. And she doesn't respond to texts and she doesn't respond to phone calls and just sort of disappears, and she sort of goes into her own space because we learned in Before the Storm, that's what had happened between her and Chloe, that Chloe might have believed that Max got off and had a whole raft of brand new friends and they were awesome, and Max had just left Arcadia Bay behind forever because she had better, newer, cooler friends to hang out with. But we know that that's not really what happened for Max. It's not that she didn't have anybody, but we never heard her express regret at all for like leaving Seattle or not being able to connect with her friends there. She seemed fairly isolated there. And yet she didn't stay in touch with Chloe because one of Max's defense mechanisms is to just withdraw, to just sever those lines of communication. So to see that carried forward into this game with what happens after Safi dies, I thought was a really nice touch. And the final thing is there was that one question that came and went pretty quickly when Yasmin called Max at her home and Max took the call. And one of the questions that Yasmin asked is, have you ever dealt with a loss like this? And it showed Chloe's picture, and I immediately selected not like this. And the reason that I did that, I just want people to know, I sobbed during the original Life is Strange, but it's still not the same. It's still not the same as saying to a mother who's burying her daughter, oh yeah, I know what you went through because my best friend in high school got shot. It's just not the same. And to try to draw that equivalence, there's an aspect of not wanting Yasmin to feel unique in her grief, in her loss, but it just didn't feel right to equate the two things. So that was a very easy decision, and Max was immediately like, no, not like this. I'm so sorry. And that was that decision there. I think the only other thing is the whole thing with the administrative assistant. He just seems a little bit high-strung and super transactional, but I don't get the sense that Vin is like a huge jackass or an obstacle or anything like that. Oh, I was sorry, before we go, the whole thing with Dr. Hunter there, Gwen Hunter, was just... Gwen was oddly defensive about the idea that some of the conversation might have been overheard. I don't know. If I really liked it when Gwen told Loretta to like get the hell away from her, like just go. Like you how do you have time to be such a snoop when you don't have time to do any of your assignments? That was refreshing to hear. But then for her to be like, oh, and Max, she's not a liar, what's up? The two choices that I saw on screen were like, I wanted to see if you were okay. And then the other one was, I'm investigating the murder. I'm investigating the murder by sort of like sneaking up behind you and listening to your call. That felt like it was worse. Like even to this moment, I don't regret the one that I chose, because to choose the one that was, I'm investigating the murder, seems accusatory. Like there's an implied accusation there. And instead, I don't think it's inappropriate to ask Gwen, if I ever call her Rachel, I don't know why Rachel Hunter is in my head, to ask Gwen, are you okay? Because among other things, that was kind of a weird conversation to be having in this particular circumstance. I told you to never contact me on this phone, never on this line, and only ever by text. What do you mean? Did the police find it? Oh, no. The first thing was like, the police, I'm sure the police already know about that. Know about what? And are you so sure that you're coaching somebody to not go to the police about something? Because that's what it sounds like. And sure, it could be the police in Detroit. It could be completely unrelated to this, but let's assume that it is very related, Gwen, and maybe talk it through with us. So, yeah, if Gwen wants to get weird and defensive about part of a conversation being overheard and not, like, just clarify it, okay, look, we're going to do our best to find out what all is happening. And then the very last thing is just, what's going to happen next? Max appears to be at some relatively recent point in the past, meaning that everybody was still wearing their hats and scarves. So whether or not this is like 3 days before Safi's death or what, like let's find out. But it'll be really interesting, and partially because in the first game, although Maxine could like go back in time, it was always with the use of a photograph, and she was pretty limited in what kind of interaction she could do, where there were these like basically edges of reality that she couldn't go past. She was very limited in the immediate bubble around whatever had been photographed. Here, so far, I don't get that sense, but man, I feel like the very first thing I would have said to Safi, even through all the grief and relief, would have been, Safi, we really need to have a conversation about the night of the meteor shower. We really need to talk about the places you're not going to go that day. And yes, I'm aware that this is what happened with Chloe and that it worked out super bad for everybody in Arcadia Bay, but you'd still try, right? I would. I will, if it's on the table. Like, yeah, if we can... Who knows what it was about Chloe? Maybe Safi will be different, and we can put together some sequence of events that allow her to see that book published. We'll call it here. Thank you guys so much for joining me for episode 1 of Life is Strange Double Exposure. I will be recording the next episode next week, and hopefully you guys will be able to see all of these episodes come up and published in a very rapid order. Until next time, you guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.